Welcome into this Tuesday edition of the Oxford Exxon Podcast. Chase Parham, Neal, McCready, Clark Ford Studio here this morning. We have a real live top 25 that means nothing in the overall scheme of things, but still we'll talk about that today. We have a continuation of the Gundy story as Oklahoma has no idea how to handle a news cycle whatsoever. And much more coming up on today's show. Ole Miss practiced yesterday. They are practicing today. Coverage at rebelgrove.com of yesterday and today, and every practice as we move forward to Saturday, a scrimmage, the only scrimmage or the only practice of the preseason camp that is open to fans as well as media. So that coming up on Saturday.
What's our availability this week? It's yesterday, today, Thursday, Saturday?
You think that's right, but it might be Friday too, but I don't recall.
Okay.
I want to say maybe Wednesday's the only day off, but I could be wrong on that. I will check that.
I'll ask today. I'm going out there this morning.
Well, we have it's in the email. I can check it.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, either way. All right, that and more coming up on today's show.
So far, they've stuck to the email.
It's been 100% completely at the email so far.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's they get started a little later than 9, but otherwise everything is as said.
Well,
that just means people start trickling out. Matriculating or trickling out.
I think they do some of the stuff in the indoor before they come out.
Gotcha. So technically they are doing things.
Sure.
Whatever. The meat and potatoes begins around 10:20.
Yeah, I try to get there in time for the 7-on-7 and team.
Right.
I'm not watching. I've already hit the point of the year where I'm not watching stretch and endo.
Quinshon Judkins is really good doing the little hop over the things.
Yeah,
it's all right. They're all capable of pulling those off. That's what happens. So, Oxford Exxon, Highway 6 West in Oxford, all blue sky locations throughout Mississippi. Actually, you can use all of them to download the Exxon mobile app. You can even take a picture of the QR code right there at the pump, and you get $10 off your purchase of fuel. 1,000 bonus points equals $10 here locally. You can also get some ribs for dinner, wet or dry. Call ahead, pick them up, have them ready to go to feed the kids, busy activities and whatnot. The Oxford Exxon can help out with that. And again, coming to you from the Clark Ford Studio.
We are Clark Ford's in Amory, Mississippi. 662-257-1900 is the number. You call it. You ask for Corey Clark. You tell Corey what Ford product you're looking for. He'll send you a quote within 15 minutes in business hours. It's right to the bottom line. There's no hassle. There's no haggle. You get your quote, and you can do with it as you will. You can shop that quote around elsewhere. Certainly your prerogative. Or you can do what I've done, I guess 4 times now, what I recommend that you do, and that's get a Clark Ford. You'll love the product. You'll absolutely love the service. Corey and the people at Clark Ford want to be your car guy. They want to be your truck guy. They'll prove to you what that means when you make the call, 662-257-1900. Guest will join from time to time on the Rafters Music and Food Hotline. Rafters Music and Food on the Square in Oxford. Great place to grab a po' boy, hamburger, appetizers. Got a great beer selection, full bar and more. Fun place just to hang out. There's also Rafters in New Albany, and then starting on Wednesdays, Rafters on the Water out at Sardis.
Yesterday, quite the news day, but two deaths made the kind of the national landscape. I believe in Newton John, and then David McCullough. I would assume that, given your interest, McCullough was one for you there.
Yeah, I've got several of his books. I've read a lot of his books.
Because they are readable as a historian. That is one of the keys for him. Is you're not thinking you're reading this drawing on textbook.
No, you're not reading a textbook. He humanizes the people that were the founding fathers. Are we allowed to call them founding fathers anymore?
Yeah,
is that still okay?
Yeah, I think you're all right.
Yeah, I mean he humanized them because they were people, and he made them interesting. He made John Adams, who by most accounts was not a particularly interesting person, quite human, because he was a human, and McCullough was an incredibly gifted author,
researcher,
writer.
teller, the whole deal. I mean, all ways that you have to be good to combine in that type of way.
Yeah, there's lots of guys who are really good researchers.
Yeah.
But they don't know how to make it interesting. They don't know how to write. I don't know that they know how to feel anything. Oh. And McCullough was incredibly gifted in all of those accounts and was able to put all of that together and let you would read a book, 1776, for example, where, you pretty much felt like you were there.
How many books did he write? I mean, it's a huge number, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, a bunch.
I mean, because like you ask people, hey, what's this or that or your favorite or whatnot. I mean, it's staggering the number of books that he had written.
Yeah, I guess.
Do you have one behind you or something?
No, I was looking to see. I think most of ours are like in the living room. I've got several of his works. He was really, really, really good. And Olivia Newton-John dying is a reminder of how old I'm getting.
She was 73? Is that correct?
Yeah, which is, I mean, when I was a kid, I guess Grease came out and stuff. I've never seen Grease, but I remember it being a big deal.
So she would have been around 30 playing Sandy.
Yeah.
Because that was 78-ish.
Mm-hmm.
Is that right for Grease?
I think so. I was a kid. I was in elementary school.
I know that all the actors were much older than high school kids in that movie. That the director checked all of them for essentially crow's feet and wrinkles to make sure they could play the high school parts. Was kind of like the one thing that they were focused on to make sure they could do it. Because I want to say their ages range from like 25 to even, Stockard Channing, who played Riz was 32 or 33 at the time, maybe.
Playing a high school student?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, look, you could tell that she was definitely older than a lot of the other ones. But yeah, I think that's right, somewhere in there. Yeah, 1978 for Grease is what it was.
Yeah, so I was 8 years old. It's a lot of 1978 in the news here today.
There is.
Lately. I finished Tom Rinaldi's podcast, Wesley, yesterday, I guess after our podcast, yeah.
Okay.
It was really, really, really good. About Lyman Bostock, who was murdered in 1978.
Yeah, looking at it here, Stockard Channing is 78 years old now, so she was even 5 years older than Olivia Newton-John when she... So what are you aware of Olivia Newton-John from the most then?
I mean, just being a pop culture icon when I was a kid. I mean, she had that, wasn't it her that had the Let's Get Physical or whatever song? That was like, a big deal at the time. And this, I guess the spandex and the leotards or whatever. I was a kid. I just remember her being a big deal. She was a big deal. John Travolta was a big deal when I was a kid. I was less into pop culture than I was into baseball cards.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, to me, George Brett was a really big deal.
He was a bigger deal than John Travolta.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, I mean, I'm obviously I was not keeping tabs on Olivia Newton-John, but it was kind of startling. I'd gone for a run and came back and went, wow. Whoa,
yeah.
That was...
Of course. Pretty big news day yesterday.
Yeah. Yeah, I've seen Grease a lot. That's actually one I've seen, I don't know, 15, 20 times probably at least. Something like that. Because, it was on like TNT all the time. But you just like flip through it, it's there, and you kind of catch it and go, all right, fine. And it's jingly and whatever. So, anyway. A couple different things. We'll get into the poll when we actually go into a full deal here. And maybe you and I have not discussed this. We didn't talk off air yesterday. I thought the statement from Oklahoma and Venables was really dumb yesterday because you're already in the middle of a news cycle. There's all sorts of shit going on yesterday in any facet that you would like to do that, including some NFL news that, while not crazy substantial, it doesn't take much NFL news to overtake college football. You had the poll coming out. You had all this stuff. And sure, Oklahoma was getting beaten up over the Kel Gundy news because nothing made sense. We talked about it on yesterday's podcast. I'm not going to reiterate all that here. But this looks like I'm mad and I'm sitting at my desk and I'm banging my hand on the table a little bit here because they put out another statement from Venables. It just says a Monday statement from him, 2:37 on August the 8th. And he says, as painful as it has been dealing with Coach Gundy resigning from the program, it doesn't touch the experience of pain felt by a room full of young men I'm charged to protect, lead, and love. There are a few things I would like to address. Coach Gundy resigned from the program because he knows what he did was wrong. He chose to read aloud to his players not once but multiple times a racially charged word that is objectionable to everybody and does not reflect the attitude and values of our university football program. This is not acceptable, period. Coach Gundy did the right thing in resigning. He knows our goals for excellence and coaches have special responsibilities to set an example. He also knows that while we'll always be a part of the OU family, his words affected many of us and did not represent the principles of our university. Again, his resignation was the right thing to do, and we will move forward positively. So the whole premise of that is that he said it multiple times, not once. Still was not his words, and that is not, according to multiple media outlets, the players weren't actually pissed off or upset. So why is there a statement yesterday from Brent Venables?
I now give Venables about 24 months.
I mean, this is
on
dumb.
The gig. Well,
why are you lengthening the cycle?
And then I noticed that Cale Gundy's daughter came out with
I've got that here. I'll pull that up.
Fairly telling comments that tell you that this was personal.
Yeah, I'll get there in a second. You still believe that it had something to do with what we said yesterday, that he was related to Mike Gundy?
I guess so. I mean, look, was it smart to read that word out loud twice, by the way? And twice.
No, it's dumb.
Twice is technically multiple, but when you say multiple, you imply more than twice.
Like just constant repeating.
He said it twice. It was lyrics to a song that probably plays in the OU locker room all the time. You know me, Chase. I can't stand political correctness. I hate it. I don't like this. We're canceling Cale Gundy, who I don't know, by the way. Never met Cale Gundy in my life.
I know nothing about
I wouldn't know Cale Gundy if he walked into my office right here. I don't know if he's the greatest guy in the world or the worst guy in the world or, like most of us, somewhere in between. I don't know, okay? No clue. I don't know anything about Oklahoma football. I've been to that stadium a couple of times, I guess. I've been to that campus a couple of times. My daughter took a visit to OU. I like OU fine. It's fine. I don't really like Norman. I like the OU campus. I'm telling you everything I know about OU, which is a very limited amount, right?
Sure.
Yet I don't like the canceling of Cale Gundy over this. The putting a racism label on Cale Gundy. And I've watched people in our godforsaken field of sports writing do it over the last. I've had to bite my tongue so many times. Colleagues of ours, people who work in our network, people who are friends of ours, they have no problem whatsoever with what happened. Just think, you can't say the word. And I'm on the other side of this, and I'll admit it out loud, and I know this makes me a dinosaur, and there were things that happened throughout the news cycle yesterday that made me realize, man, you do not fit in the field you're in. But I have a problem with canceling Cale Gundy over this.
Yeah, I mean, you look at it. I mean, we always go here first because I knew you'd have a comment. I mean, Dan Wolken, little by little, the truth comes out. It's like,
oh, shut up.
Like,
I mean, what an absolute. That guy is among the absolute worst.
So, Kat Gundy, again, daughter of Cale Gundy, tweets and then deletes said tweet. I'm sure her father told her to take it down. Quoting here, interesting you told your players to keep their mouths shut about what really happened and their heads down. The truth will always come to fruition. It's only a matter of time. From Cat Gundy.
Which is probably true. And again, I'm not saying what he did was smart.
Well, no.
But he didn't call someone a pejorative.
No.
It was first day of camp. And listen, it's football. Football meetings and such are really not for the tame of heart, okay? They're really not. Football teams, football meetings, August football.
Sure.
It's not exactly the most wholesome environment in the whole wide world. And let's be real here for a minute, Chase. Let's be honest.
Mm-hmm.
We've been out at Ole Miss practices. A lot of the music that's played is fine, but some of the music has some lyrics in it that, I mean, if we were to write the lyrics down on a piece of paper, everybody go, I can't read that out loud.
Yeah, sure. 100%.
So, I mean, if we're going to do this, hey.
Mainstream rap music plays a lot.
Yeah, so if we're going to do this, hey, this is just then let's kill it all. And for the record, I have no problem with it. I like rap. I listen to rap. I run to rap. I'm cool with rap. So I'm not gonna be the old man yelling at a cloud here.
Yeah, sure.
I run to rap. I have it's really funny. I go to football practice and I'm like, you guys are kind of playing my music because I run to rap and country and really nothing else. But if I go to a football practice, I'm going to hear bad words. I'm going to hear people dressed down in a way that, whew.
Yeah.
I mean, I've heard people get called stuff that it hurt my feelings. And I was just 20 yards away.
Yeah, we had to almost kind of turn your back. Go, I'm a little uncomfortable right here. Woo.
Man, that's rough.
Yeah.
And here's a guy that, again, I don't know Cale Gundy. He might be the worst person on the face of the earth. But I've watched a whole bunch of former players vouch for him. A lot of whom are black.
Sure.
And my experience is if someone is a racist, it's hard to hide that in an environment like a football building for 30 years.
The Oklahoma beat would have said the players were pissed if the players were pissed.
Yeah.
They would have not gone out of their way to go, hey, the players didn't really care. It's all good.
So it strikes me that this is Brent Venables wanting to be, I don't know what the word is. I'll just tell you that it's my opinion, and I think it's yours because you talked about news cycle.
Yeah.
That you could have let this pass.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You did nothing but bring it back up. Because, I mean, look, we don't cover Oklahoma. If we're doing this, they're doing this times 1,000. I would not have said Cale Gundy's name today had Venables not put that statement out. I had moved on, whatever. We would have talked about something else right now.
Oh, but I think it goes deeper than that. I think you could have handled this internally from the very beginning with him.
We didn't want to, though.
Right.
That's the catch in this.
He wanted him gone.
He, for whatever reason, which is what we don't know yet.
Right.
Brent Venables did not want Cale Gundy coaching his wide receivers this season. That's it. We know that. I mean, come on. It doesn't take two and 4 here. It doesn't take much.
Agreed.
And if Venables is doing this, and if we are correct, and we're not missing something, and something's weird and hasn't come out yet, and if it does, okay, fine, we'll talk about it then. But if we're right, as you said, 24 months or whatever, because suddenly you go, damn, it took you a long time to be a head coach, and you're not ready to be one.
I'm in complete.
You're not handling your program here.
I mean,
not how you do it.
Yesterday was a day.
He got pissed off because people kind of went back against him, even just a little bit.
Yeah.
It wasn't even that harsh. There were a lot of people that agreed with him.
You freeze.
That's a good point. You pick out the minority a little bit, and suddenly
he wanted everyone to march in lockstep. Everyone to go, hey. What he really wanted was a whole bunch of, gosh, coach, I'm so sorry you had to do that, but we're behind you.
Throw one at you here. We're going to break after this. Venables is at Oklahoma. He was at Clemson. Clemson, very media soft. Maybe more than any program in the country. They protect the Tigers.
Yes.
I mean, it is. We make fun of some SEC schools, but nobody's close to Clemson. I mean, it is, by God, you are purple and orange, and we cover everything up.
To the point that the, quote, legitimate, and we'll get to this later too, the legitimate media that cover them, they've started kind of hiring people that are either, like, I won't name names, but sure. I can think of 3 or 4 beat writers just off the top of my head that could go from, let's just use schools that are out. They could go from the Arkansas beat to the Missouri beat to the Louisville beat.
Sure.
Okay, boom, 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 and they would be. You would read them and go, oh, he's an Arkansas fan. Oh, he's a Missouri fan. Oh, he's a Louisville fan. That's what you'd think. Those people. Those people
sure.
exist.
Sure.
Or they're hiring people who are just Clemson fans.
So, point being, he was in that environment for a really long time. And Oklahoma's not that. They've got columnists for the Oklahoman and whatnot, but that program has always sort of had this seat at the top in the Big 12 and never really pushed. And frankly, they've never been challenged inside their league other from Texas. I mean, you mentioned this. They're not ready for the SEC in a lot of very clear logistical ways. I mean, like the facilities. I mean, they have issues getting into this league.
Yeah.
And now you got this guy leading you who's been at Clemson and done all this and is so used to this protection and cover up and blanket over my head.
Yeah.
Mixed with the Oklahoma thing that's been doing kind of the same thing. I'm telling you, dude, their entry into this league has got a chance to blow the hell up.
I'll give you an example. OU is, 4 hours from Arkansas?
Yeah.
If you were to do a ranking of SEC programs, you'd put Arkansas, 9th, 10th, somewhere in there? 9th, 10th, 11th even?
Maybe, sure.
Whatever. In there?
Yeah, sure.
Arkansas has better facilities than Oklahoma.
Yeah. It's not close.
I mean, not even close. Practice facility, indoor facility, all that stuff is better facilities.
Yeah. They're not ready for the league, but that goes for mindset as well as tangible items.
For sure.
And I think yesterday was an example.
And before anybody gets upset, I used Arkansas because it's the closest geographic. That's it. I was making a geographical.
Well, frankly, I mean, Oklahoma's not kicking the hell out of Missouri's facilities.
No.
And Missouri hasn't invested like everybody else.
No.
Is the point. So you're in that realm.
And if you ranked programs, you'd rank Missouri
way down.
12.
Yeah, sure. Vanderbilt, and then take your pick. Sure.
Yeah. I mean, you'd think about Missouri at 13.
Yeah. Podcast brought to you in part by Community Mortgage, Oxford, Memphis, Soto County, and Chattanooga. All underwriting and processing is done in Memphis. You're getting local underwriting and understands your market. Leader in condo financing, the float down option, and more. You can find Jason at 662-234-2704 or JLOWE at communitymtg.com.
Are you looking to diversify? Are you looking to leave the corporate rat race to gain control of your income and schedule? MyPerfectFranchise.net offers the ability to create income and wealth. Let Andy Ludecky guide you through a comprehensive franchise evaluation. He has tons of franchise and business ownership experience to lean on. If you hate your job, your boss, your pay, you feel stuck, Andy can help. It's Andy at MyPerfectFranchise.net. We're also brought to you by Solutions RX. It's a probiotic multivitamin supplement company created by Ole Miss pharmacy alum Chris Cornelison. It's pharmaceutical grade, manufactured here inside the U.S. I've been taking some of their supplement stuff. Makes you just feel a lot better. The prescription support, it puts vitamins back into your body, helps with side effects that you get from like high blood pressure medicine, diabetes medicine, stuff like that. Helps you stay more compliant in taking your medications, help you stay healthier over the long term. SolutionRx.com, SolutionsRx.com. Promo code OEP at checkout. Receive 10% off your first order. Holcomb Portable Buildings, 7991 Highway 7 South in Holcomb, Mississippi. They custom build your buildings to your specifications, however you want your carport, ATV or storage shed, barn, hunting cabin, or other buildings. Holcomb can accommodate you. You pick the color, the style, the windows, the doors, and Holcomb makes it happen. In-house financing available, free delivery and setup within 75 miles of Holcomb as well. 662-226-2233. Or go to holcombbuildings.com. You can also find them on Facebook or Instagram at Holcomb Portable Buildings. We are a little less than 4 weeks away from the season opener, which means it's time to start thinking about your tailgate. 7 South Tailgating is your one-stop shop for all things tailgating at Ole Miss. Their service is fully customizable to accommodate anything from the most basic needs to turnkey tailgating. They provide a level of service that is like none other. Their team is passionate about serving fellow Rebels, and it shows. If you use their service once, you'll never tailgate without them again. To lock in a tailgating package for this fall, you can visit their site, 7southtailgating.com. Submit a request. They're currently booking single game, multi-game, and full season packages. As of right now, they still have availability for any and all services and all game selections. So get in touch with them at 7southtailgating.com. And don't forget, speaking of tailgating, you want your sock game to be strong when you're out in the Grove, whether it's the no-shows because it's hotter than hell, or whether it's you just want people to see your school spirit. You can do all of that at Dead Soxy, deadsoxy.com. Promo code RebelGrove at checkout. Get 25% off your entire order on the best socks you'll ever put on your feet.
Podcasts are also brought to you by Prime Shrimp, primeshrimp.com. With school back in session, great thing to take care of an easy dinner with kids. You get restaurant-quality shrimp shipped straight to your door. Use code MPW to get $20 off your first order. You got the 5 different flavors available to you, including my favorite, the signature. It's got a great garlic flavor to it. They've got a spicy option, a couple meals in a bag with garlic herb butter or the French Quarter Alfredo, and the Simply Shrimp, so you can doctor it up. You can flavor it yourself to your kids or maybe more discerning palates. that are in your household. Also, they are now offering the 2-pound bags of the individually frozen shrimp, just kind of like you would get at the grocery store, except a higher quality with the New Orleans-based company. So, again, that's primeshrimp.com, code MPW for $20 off your first order. I was clicking here to find some info on the Big Ten rights. We'll get to in a second. But I stumbled across, and I don't even know if we mentioned this on the show. I'm sure you and I have both just seen it independently of that. The book that Feinbaum and Talty are writing on Saban and Jimbo and their feud and kind of NIL and whatever. It seems like a really strange topic for a book, considering the ever-evolving nature of that topic, of that right now. It's not really it's not settled yet. So you're writing a book that's coming out next summer, but you have to get it done before something huge could happen that would change it and create it to be obsolete. But Penguin Press is publishing it, and it looks like Paul Feinbaum's advance for this book is $700,000. I'm really confused. I know nothing about this industry, but I'm really confused.
I'm speechless, really.
I mean, good for you, Paul, but I'm really confused, right?
Are there that many people who are going to buy a book about Jimbo Fisher and Nick Saban having a feud?
Yes.
Are there really? Would you even consider buying that book?
Well, because
hold on. You're in sports writing. You cover the SEC. If you're walking through the proverbial bookstore, would you even consider picking that up to read the jacket?
I'm not even sure I would reply to the email and get a media copy for free. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not even sure, like, when I got the press release, I went, hey, yeah, let me get a book.
On, like, level of interest, with 1 being, and 10 being, oh, my God, I can't wait. I'm a 1.
Well, and Talty just finished a book on Saban. Like, we're doing another one?
I'm more interested in it.
Yeah, sure, whatever.
It's about his leadership skills and stuff. I'm kind of in on it. Like,
yeah, that's fine.
Like on that, I'm like a 5.
Yeah, sure.
Maybe even a 6.
Sure.
I've met Saban. I've dealt with Saban. Saban's a really interesting person to me. And I know Jimbo. Used to cover Jimbo. I have no interest in their, quote, feud.
I mean, I literally don't know how you write a book when any minute things blow up and change and it's all like, well, all right, now Congress stepped in and there's a cap.
Well, and is Paul really, as the voice of the SEC network, is Paul really going to get into the true nitty-gritty of what this is about? The individual players this is about and how much those players got paid? Are we really going to get into that? Seriously? Because I don't think so.
Yeah.
Or are we going to gloss over it with how wonderful everything is?
$700,000 plus royalties on his upcoming book about the Nick Saban Jimbo Fisher feud. SBJ, Sports Business Journal's Michael Smith reports. Feinbaum, the authority on the SEC, is working with Penguin Press on the yet-to-be-titled book that would dig into what prompted the legendary coach to go after his former assistant, who's now the head coach of Texas A&M, over name, image, and likeness issues. Saban said the Aggies, quote, bought every player in their highly ranked recruiting class. Fisher fired back, blah, 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 blah. When they gathered in Atlanta last month for media days, both coaches tried to simmer the heated dispute. There's apparently much more to the story, which will be the focus of Feinbaum's book. His monetary advance speaks to the interest in the topic as well as his status as a voice of the SEC to tell it.
What's Talty getting?
I don't know. It doesn't say. ALs.com's John Talty is consulting and helping Feinbaum on the book, which is expected to be ready in time for the 2023 football season.
I mean, if you're going to go dig into every member of that recruiting class and tell me everything that happened in their recruiting,
you and I both know that's not happening.
That would be the only way that you could get me to pick the book up.
Well, that's not even in the realm of possibility. It feels like a lot of just background fluff. You know what I mean? You can take care of that.
Yeah, they're done. Yeah, kudos to Paul.
Oh, whatever.
I mean,
well, now look, if Penguin called you and said, hey, look.
There was a day I would have called Paul a friend. It was a long time ago. I mean, we worked together at 2 different publications and I've had long conversations about things before, and I have a lot of respect for what he's done with his career. So
sure.
Good for him.
I guess my point is, I guess if you're Feinbaum, I don't know what I would love to know what level he pitched it to Penguin versus like it got kind of figured out in some secondary way. Because, I mean, I guess somebody said, hey, take 3 months, write a book, and we'll pay you $700,000. You have to go, well, okay. I guess.
I'm guessing Talty's doing most of the writing.
I would assume. I mean, that would definitely be my guess. But I have to think there's at least some level of rehash here.
Yeah, I mean, look, John's good. Maybe John's going to go to Texas and dig into all these kids. I doubt it.
See it. Well, he's busy. I mean, he is the sports editor of AL.com.
And when's this thing due?
Next summer. In time for the season next year. I don't know.
That game, I think it's October the 1st. October the 8th. It's the day that Ole Miss goes to Nashville.
Okay.
That game is going to be so overhyped. Overhyped.
Because you don't think it's close.
I mean,
or even if it is, whatever.
Or if you do the thing where they hate each other. Number one, I don't think they necessarily do. They're both making millions off this. I mean, they both have generational wealth.
I noticed from a scheduling standpoint, I'm moving on to the Big Ten thing in a second. We've talked about all the different ways this football schedule is weird for Ole Miss. It's also weird in that October 1st is against Kentucky, and they only have one home game between then and November the 12th.
Yeah.
Like 6 weeks, and they have one home game in the middle of those.
Auburn.
Yeah, on the 15th.
Yeah.
That's it. At Vanderbilt, at LSU, at A&M, and an open date.
Yeah. They play
all in the middle of that.
So they play Auburn on the 15th, and they play Alabama November the 12th?
That is correct.
Okay.
LSU the 22nd, A&M the 29th, and then off, I guess, the 5th, whatever that is.
Yeah.
And then even after that, it's at Arkansas and then stayed at home.
Yeah.
It's a weird schedule.
Yeah.
All the way around is a really weird schedule.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Wrote about this in Observations yesterday. Had really the first fight since the first day of practice that you saw kind of skirmishes and guys going to the ground and whatnot. And I put this in Observations. I kind of thought it was handled all the way around completely correctly. Like in some ways, it felt like a leadership thing where the program is not off the rails because Davison and Bigneson, he goes low on Quinshaw and Judkins. He kind of puts a helmet into his lower body, which is a no-no right now. You're not trying to take knees out of running backs.
Was this a live period?
It was a live period,
okay.
Yeah. That was not what they were trying to do, though. Jeremy James took exception to it very quickly, ran over and gave Davison a pretty good pop. At that point, everybody kind of broke it up, and it calmed down. And you could tell Davison was pouting a little bit. He was kind of, in his Cheerios, and A.J. Finley walks over and kind of pats him on the head, gets him back pepped up, but also goes, hey, we don't go low. Like, cut that out. That's not what we're doing here. And
yeah,
everybody moved on really quickly, but I kind of thought, in some ways, that's a good camaraderie deal for Judkins and James, and then Igbedison kind of figures it out, and it's all right. I mean, it just, look, they're all kind of amped up and hyped, and I mean, Tennyson talked about it yesterday. He goes, kind of getting to that point of camp where you're just kind of annoyed. You're just kind of getting a little chippy and a little frustrated.
Yeah.
And kind of,
it's
kind of tired of being here a little bit right now.
Right now, the offense and the defense aren't on the same team.
No.
I mean, you're teammates, but you're really not.
No, you were two separate entities operating in the same facilities right now.
Yeah, because if you have a good day, they didn't. But if they have a good day, you probably didn't. And you're at the point right now where if someone goes, hey, if you were playing defense, hey, what do you think about the offense? Your basic answer is screw them. This is about survival. Again, I'm back to what we started with.
Yeah.
August is not happy time.
No.
There's nothing particularly wholesome about August.
No, we'll come together later. We'll be all right. But it's not today.
It's going to be a minute.
Not today.
It's hot. It's muggy. You've been yelled at a lot. You're tired. Your body's starting to hurt. You're hitting the same people over and over and over. They're annoying you. You're annoying them. You're getting ready for this scrimmage on Saturday that you know is huge and is going to get hyped up, yet there are rules inside the rules for the scrimmage. You're competing. It's just there's a lot going on. Which again, I get back to people. People will say things in an environment like that you wouldn't say anywhere else.
Mm-hmm. It was one day, and I have not seen everything because Neal and I have been alternating, but out of what I've seen, the quarterbacks look better than they have been at any point in camp yesterday. They were just kind of sharper. There was a lot more in stride catches, and then posted that Dart, his misses yesterday were way overthrown. So it wasn't underthrown where it's picked or kind of in dumb windows. If he missed, he was literally launching the damn thing 10, 15 yards over people, which is a little strange. And then every time he threw a ball over receivers, he was doing sit-ups. I don't know if those were coach mandated or his own personal punishment there. But
well, two things. One, it's why Lane gets tired of the quarterback question.
Mm-hmm.
And two, and I've been saying this over and over, what they're hoping is that both quarterbacks improve. They're hoping that they both fix some of the things that are detrimental to their development and that they both get better.
Correct.
Yes, it's going to be a decision, and someone's going to, as you said, be in his Cheerios for a little bit. And understandably. Like, I won't criticize whoever loses the job if they sulk for a day or two. Mm-hmm. I get it. But there's a decent to strong chance that you're going to need both of these quarterbacks over the course of the season.
Yeah. News yesterday, I guess the Sports Business Journal's who announced this. If somebody else had it, I apologize. It's where I'm seeing it. Big Ten losing or ESPN losing the Big Ten, I should say, in media rights deals for the first time in 40 years for men's basketball and football. We're so used to those 11 a.m. ESPN games that will be no more when the new rights package comes into effect. They're still talking, so I guess there's a possibility of a change. But as of right now, Fox has already taken the A package. It'll carry a broadcast game on its network at noon Eastern, the game we're talking about, as well as football games on its cable channels, FS1 and Big
Noon
10.
Saturday.
Yes, and Big 10 Network, which it holds a 60% stake in, by the way, Fox does.
Yeah.
And then the B package looks like it's going to be shared by CBS and NBC. CBS getting their 2:30 slot that was the SEC's for years and years and years. Now it's the Big Ten.
Wonder if they'll sell the same song.
They can't, right? I know it's theirs, and I guess you do, but
it'd be the ultimate troll job.
It's a little bit of like, it screws with your head because that's going to take a minute. That's really going to take a minute. That kind of messes with you a little bit right there.
You don't hear that song and think, Michigan State, Purdue, next.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't hear that and think Vern's about to call Indiana and Illinois for you. What this probably means is actually it's going to, the SEC ESPN can jump more into Big 12 and the Pac-12. It can spend all of its money there and basically try to make sure it has plenty of games in every time slot throughout the day. I know they care more about the Pac-12 than the Big 12 because it gives them the ability to show those night games and kind of carry on through, whereas they can get the SEC there and then let the Pac-12 go from there and finish out their day. This has, frankly, no impact on the SEC hardly at all, in my opinion.
Right.
I don't think this has a relevance on the SEC. I do also wonder if some of the decision to make sure NBC has a cushy location is Notre Dame related as part of their B package. Could be an indirect thing, but it was one of the things that did pop out in my head.
Could be
during the course of that. So anyway, Amazon has also bid on these packages for the B package, but nobody thinks that they are in the ballpark of a possibility there for this.
Yeah, it feels like we're just not quite there yet.
No, that's let the NFL do it for a little while, see how it goes, and then go from there. The Big Ten, as everybody knows, is expected to eclipse $1 billion per year in rights fees when all this is said and done, if you will.
1 billion.
1 billion, yes, that is correct.
Right.
ABC had started carrying Big Ten games in 1966, and ESPN cut its first deal in 1982. So they've been with that network for quite a while. Your 2:30 ESPN or SEC spot will be on ABC, the game of the week that was the ESPN thing. I mean, the CBS thing now it is ABC. So
it will take people all of about a week to adjust.
And it will be perfectly fine.
Yep.
Hey, LSU, Florida. What channel is that on? Oh, ABC. Okay, we'll flip over there now. Cool.
I think this is kind of being talked about in the thread a little bit. I think what's going to surprise people is that you're going to find that a lot of the TV people really value. Fans hate it. I get it.
That 11 o'clock slot.
But that noon Eastern slot is important to TV people.
It's coming out of your pregame show. It's the starting the day. It's a national slot.
They don't want to put a dog game there.
No, because you're kind of starting the day bad when you do that. When you bury a game at 11, it's a national TV game when everybody's excited and game day ends and Big Noon Saturday or whatever the hell it's called ends.
It's been super successful for them. That Big Ten game at noon.
Oh, it's huge.
I mean,
it was my palate cleanser for the day.
NFL plays games at noon.
Yeah.
The game that they bury is that like 5 o'clock start, the 3 o'clock start.
The SEC Network 3 o'clock is the one where it's
crappy game. The only people that are watching this are the fans of the two teams. We'll put it here.
Yeah, because it's going up against the ABC or the CBS game, and we'll let that be what it is. So, yeah, no big SEC implications, but I do overall find it kind of fascinating. And then the Big Ten is going to set the market from an overall money standpoint for the SEC to see what they get toward that as time goes on.
They'll eclipse it.
You think so?
Yeah.
So, all right, we'll talk.
But the Big Ten's going to that Big Ten Fox contract's going to be a monster.
Oh, it's huge.
It's going to be huge news when it comes out. The Big Ten adding USC and UCLA has been a game changer.
Sure, it's huge.
And they are absolutely right now exhibiting their power at the proverbial table.
Oh, yeah. Podcast brought to you in part by Northeast Spark, NESPORC, service people across rural communities. 2 packages, the Ignite, the 100 Mbps, or the Blaze, the 1 gig that powers the Clark Ford Studio. Your hometown team bringing you world-class broadband. That's nespark.com, 662-238-3159. Phone service, pro controls, network security, and more. Call to get the best internet in Lafayette County. Again, that's 662-238-3159.
You'll need game changer patches in the Grove if you're hanging out in a few weeks. The only 2-patch system available in the market. Stop hangovers before they start. Warm-up patch used before, while you drink. Overtime patch used after you've been drinking. Helps you recover while you sleep. All natural ingredients keep you in the game. Ready for your next play. GameChangerPatch.com. Promo code RebelGrove20 at checkout for 20% off your purchase. ACS is owned by my good friend Clay McNutt in Baldwin, Mississippi. It's a complete electrical control system solution provider and a Rockwell Automation recognized system integrator. They've got a full-time dedicated emergency service and troubleshooting staff, a UL 508A panel shop, and so much more. ACSLLCMS.com or call 662-601-4381. Lammon's Fine Jewelry, 1126 North Lamar Boulevard in Oxford. Has been serving the Oxford area for 3/4 of a century. If you have jewelry needs from engagement rings to collectibles, Lammon's is the gold standard in fine jewelry. Visit them at lammonsfinejewelry.com or call 662-234-2777. We'll have Hand Raise Guys on Thursday night. It's brought to you by Comer Heating and Air, Southern Air Conditioning and Heating. Different names, same great products and services. If you live in Oxford, Tupelo, or the surrounding area, get rid of a bot. Hold on. If you live in Oxford, Tupelo, or the surrounding area, call Comer 662-801-1777. If you live in Hernando, Memphis, or the surrounding area, call Southern 662-429-4429. College Corner is your one-stop Rebel Shop. 2 locations in the Jackson area. In Ridgeland, it's next to Fleet Feet. In Flowood, it's next to Half Shell. If you don't live in Jackson, just go to collegecornerstore.com. Plus, you can find them on Facebook and Instagram. Largest selection of Rebel gear in Central Mississippi. We're brought to you by Pinnacle. Pinnacle, home to the Pinnacle 401k Advisory Services team. Get in touch with them. They'll conduct a complimentary, no obligation benchmarking and analysis of your 401k. It's mypinwealth.com, MYPINN wealth.com. We're also brought to you by Regency Travel. John Edwards of Regency Travel Incorporated in Memphis. Get in touch with John. Tell him what you're thinking about from a travel standpoint. Give him some parameters. Give him a budget. He's going to give you options you're not going to find on your own. 901-494-3387. J. Edwards at regencytravel.net. And when you're coming up for football season, make OPA part of your experience. Stop by OPA at 306 South Lamar, just south of the Square Courthouse. Gyros, wraps, kebabs, redfish, lamb chops, handcrafted cocktails, frozen libations, an amazing candlelit patio, and much, much more.
Podcast is also brought to you by Johnston Hill Creamery, johnstonhillcreamery.com. It's on White Oak Lane, just off Molly Bar in Oxford, and it's almost tailgating season. You can go ahead and get that thing worked out for you, get your group, figure out what you're going to feed them, and Johnston Hill Creamery can help you out. Again, they have 3 different packages, one that feeds 10, one that feeds 20, and one that feeds 40 for each week of the home football season. The items will be artfully arranged on catering trays. They give you disposable utensils, make it easy for you. For example, the one that feeds 40 gives you a lot of feta dip, pepper jelly, 2 extra large specialty trays. That can be artisanal cheeses that they make locally and in-house, grazing or charcuterie. They do sandwich trays, fruit trays with cheesecake dip, which is a favorite, a crudité tray with hummus, and assorted desserts, including cookies, brownies, and more. So those options with Johnston Hill Creamery. Go ahead and set it up now, or just stop in and see what they can do for you. Again, that's 662-419-9201 or cheese at johnstonhillcreamery.com. So, let's see. It's the coaches poll, and I get they do dumb things anyway, and it's whatever, and I mean, I don't take the media poll seriously either, but the coaches poll has weirdness about it also. But if you vote Texas number 1, you should lose your spot. You should just have your pick taken away because either you or your SID is an idiot and quit. There should be public shaming, kind of like what Gary Parrish does with the basketball poll every week. It should be pointed out. Because, look, again, the poll doesn't matter, but just don't be stupid. That's all. Just don't be an idiot.
Yeah, if I had the time, I might even do that in football season. Take people's polls and make fun of them. But I don't want to give that time.
That feels time-consuming in a way that is unnecessary.
Yeah. I do laugh more and more. We'll do it here soon. The AP poll will come out in, about a week?
Sure. I don't know.
And the list of AP voters will be, quote, legitimate media. I'm not sure there's ever been a time in our nation's history where the legitimate media has been less legitimate.
Or traditional, because they all say traditional media.
Traditional media, yes.
That they like traditional media. Yeah. That's one that.
It'll be like 3/4 Gannett.
It's a bastion of something.
Bastion of objective journalism these days.
Yes.
Gannett.
Uh-huh. I know we're all shocked here because there's plenty of parity in college football, but Alabama is ranked number 1 for the 7th time in the last 13 seasons to begin the year. There's a couple spots where I thought was sort of interesting early. You've got the normal favorites that always are in polls no matter how they play or what their season looks like the year before. But you have a top 5 coming out: Alabama, Ohio State, Georgia, Clemson, and Notre Dame. Clemson way overrated at number 4. I get that it's sort of a hodgepodge of teams past those first few, and we know that the champion's going to come from those first few. But still, Clemson at 4 feels like
really high.
Incredible overvalue there of the Tigers. From the first place vote category, Alabama got 54, Ohio State got 5, Georgia got 6, and then Texas got the 1 remaining vote. They are down at 18.
Yeah.
And if they got a number 1 vote and are 18th, that meant they might not have made the top 25 without the number 1 vote. Somebody greatly. Somebody said on the board yesterday, Lance Leopold playing chess because now he gets a top 25 win when Kansas beats Texas this season.
I wouldn't put Texas in my preseason top 25.
There's nothing to justify it.
I'd put.
I do like some of their players, but
but I could pick players at damn near anywhere. I mean,
Georgia also should not have more first place votes than Ohio State. I don't think.
No, but I don't have a problem with people voting for the defending champs.
Sure, whatever. Yeah. That's not where we're going to nitpick this thing up right there.
I would have no problem with someone going, you know what, they won it. They're number 1 until someone beats them. I'm cool.
I don't hate that.
I'm cool with
line of whatever. Like
I'm cool with that. Yeah, it's fine.
It's a little whatever, but sure.
If you either voted for Alabama, Ohio State, or Georgia number 1, I'm fine. It's fine. Those are the 3 best teams. The odds are overwhelming one of those 3 teams will win the title. Frankly, the odds are Alabama's going to win the title. But
would you take Alabama or the field?
Alabama.
You would?
Mm-hmm. Without hesitation.
If I made you take the field, except for Alabama and Ohio State, what odds would you need?
So I get
everybody but those 2 teams.
But I'm really only getting Georgia.
Again, what odds do you need? 10-1?
10-1 was what came to mind.
Was it really that high?
Yeah.
Everybody but 2.
Because I'm really only getting 1 team that can win the title, and you're getting the other 2 that can.
So it's at best 33%. It's not really 33%.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm getting the third.
Like 15%.
I think I'm getting the third best team.
I wonder what Vegas would.
Because if you told me that one of those three teams loses a regular season game, I'll tell you it's Georgia. Because I think their game in Lexington could be a challenge. I think their game in Knoxville could be a challenge. Didn't say they lose.
Did you see where Greg McElroy called Tennessee's offense potentially unstoppable this season?
Well, that's ridiculous.
What are we doing?
But it could be very good.
I think Hendon Hooker's overrated personally, but it's because he's getting so much buzz. I'm like,
pretty athletic.
He's good.
Pretty good. And then that system in year two, he might be pretty good. If you told me Tennessee was one of the surprising good teams in the league, I'd buy it. Yeah, sure, 9-3, challenging for 10-2. I'd buy it. I don't predict it, but I'd buy it. Sure. Yeah, Steven says if Bama loses their quarterback to a freak injury, what's their chances? Well, the backup's going to be awfully good, but we could do that with everybody, right? I mean, if any team goes, okay, you lose your starting quarterback in week 1.
Well, yeah, that changes the whole.
That changes everything. I mean, it's actually part of the comical part about predicting games in November. There's a lot that could happen.
Clemson's too high. I would have had them. I'd have been cool with like 10. I mean, they did go 10-3 last year. They didn't suck.
Well, I mean, they don't. Who do they play? They play in the ACC, where they're only going to play a couple of games. And that's the thing. Like, everybody gets upset about people putting Houston high, but Houston might go 11-1 by default. At which point they're going to be higher ranked than an 8-4 SEC team.
I understand that mode, but that also doesn't necessarily mean they're the 10th best team.
Of course not.
Like, I personally, if I was doing the top 25, I don't know exactly. I'm just now looking at the teams, kind of going off the top of my head. The top 3 were self-explanatory. Clemson, Notre Dame should be ahead of Clemson. Notre Dame, for all the hate and all the stuff, they're a good program that wins a lot of games. I got no problem with Notre Dame being highly ranked right now. Because, look, if you're ranked like 6th or 7th, that doesn't mean you're going to go win the national title. It just means you're a good team. You're a good team. I have no problem with that. A&M, given their youth, is probably too high at 7.
Yes, I think A&M's too high at 7.
Utah is too low at 8.
Agreed.
I like Utah.
And they don't play but a couple of games.
I would actually be tempted to put Utah 4. I think I would have Utah 4.
I wouldn't have a problem with that.
I would be tempted to have, for sure, I think I would have Baylor ahead of Oklahoma.
I've got Oklahoma State ahead of Oklahoma.
Okay, that's fine too. And all 3 of those teams are back to back to back. They're 9, 10, 11, Oklahoma, Baylor, Oklahoma State.
Which is,
I think it's in the inverse.
On Tyler and our show, I said this yesterday, so I'm being repetitive. The fact that if that's accurate, that's bad news for the Big 12. Because the only way they're getting a team into the tournament, if you will, is to go undefeated.
Somebody's got to go 2-0 in those games.
So if somebody's playing those teams and they're all legitimately stacked up like that, odds are they're going to start splitting games.
You got an issue with Michigan at 6?
Seems high, but whatever.
Again, at some point, we have to put somebody somewhere. That's the problem with this college football season is that everybody got problems. Like, I don't know. Like, sure.
Yeah, I have Michigan State ahead of Michigan, but whatever. It's fine. I mean, like, they didn't even put Iowa in the top 25. All Iowa jokes aside, and I do think Iowa's one of the best 25 teams.
Oregon at 12. Okay. We'll see what Dan Lanning does in year 1. It's fine.
Sure. Whatever.
The winner of Utah and Oregon is going to do something.
Yeah.
NC State at 13.
A little low.
You think it's low?
Yeah. I think they have a real chance to go like 11-1, which would put them in the top 10.
God, we'll get a full fall of Dave Doran jokes. Can't wait.
Yeah. His team's really steady. This
is steady.
This is a really good team. And they don't play a really good schedule. People go, well, they wouldn't. I love that. They'd finish 6th in the SEC. Narrator, they're not in the SEC.
No argument there, sure.
You know, I mean, that is such a – I mean, I get it. That's just the thing.
NC State's ranked 8. Well, they wouldn't beat Alabama. Well, they don't have to.
They don't play them.
Yeah.
If they play them, it's going to be in the tournament.
And they will lose.
Yes, but they don't play them. Alabama is not an obstacle for them to get to the tournament.
Yeah. Michigan State 14, SC at 15. And, I mean, if nothing else, USC has made me interested.
They do have Caleb Williams. And and Lincoln Riley's there, and like you said, I mean, look, and credit to them, right? When you see USC on the TV, they used to flip. Now you'll go, I might stick here a minute. I might see what this looks like. In terms of Q ratings, you're probably watching them.
Okay. Yeah.
Right?
I was bored by them during the Clay Hilton era. I was not watching them even with the helmet. But right now, no, I'm in.
Yeah, sure.
I got no problem with it now.
If I tell you USC and Oregon are on television, you're like, oh, okay.
I want nothing to do with a Kenny Pickett-less Pitt at 16.
No.
That's stupid.
I do think that's a testament to the program that he's been able to build. And they've had some success in the transfer portal and stuff, sure.
Because they picked up who? Come on.
I don't know.
Somebody. Oh. I don't know. Anyway, they have a guy. They did something in the portal. Miami at 17. Okay.
Oh,
I'm okay there.
If you told me that's too low, I'd buy it.
Okay. They should be.
They have a really good quarterback.
They should be ahead of Pitt. Texas at 18, Wake at 19. Dave Clawson is one hell of a football coach, but
really good.
He's a hell of a football coach.
Yeah.
Boring as sin, but
to have Wake in these conversations is an accomplishment.
Yeah. Well, they were really good in Houston's year. They went to an Orange Bowl. We saw them.
Yeah.
Wisconsin at 20. Okay, sure.
Feels
you
low.
You can just plug it in there, though, and we'll go with it.
Feels low.
Kentucky at 21.
Low.
Cincinnati at 22.
I think it's high, but we'll see.
Well, there's no Desmond Ridder.
Well, no Desmond Ridder, and they also lost a couple of the DBs that went early in the draft.
Sauce and those guys, yeah. Arkansas, Ole Miss, 23-24 back-to-back.
I think they're both too low.
I would have guessed Ole Miss was going to be 19-20. That was kind of where I had them.
I did a show in Omaha, and they do one top 25 team a day, and so they came on, and I couldn't hear them at the beginning, and so at the end I said, where did y'all put Ole Miss? And they said 17, and I said, that's about right.
Oh, you thought that high?
I mean, I said if I had a vote, and God knows I could never have a vote as biased as I am, I'd probably at about 17. That's probably where I'd probably put them. I would have Kentucky like 14, probably Ole Miss 17, 18, and I'd probably have Arkansas around 20, 21.
So all three of those. Kentucky and Arkansas for sure. It's a testament to Pittman and Stoops and a steady program.
Sure.
Ole Miss's spot is interesting because it's a testament to Lane for sure.
Yeah.
Above all else.
And all the transfer portal success.
While also going, but we don't think you have a quarterback potentially. So we're putting you here, not here.
Oh, I don't know. I think the national assumption is going to be that they have a quarterback in Dart, and that's one of the reasons they're there. Yeah.
But I guess my question is, if that's the case, why are they not higher?
Because there's they lost a lot off that team. I mean, right? I mean, if you're looking at it from the outside, you go, okay, they lost Sam Williams. They lost Chance Campbell. They lost Mark Robinson. They lost Jake Springer. They lost Ontario Drummond. They lost Jerry and Ely. They lost Connor. They lose a lot.
Yeah, sure.
And we're replacing it with a bunch of transfer portal people. I'm not sure that's going to work. They lost Matt Corral. I mean, they lost a lot. I look at that and go, Like if someone nationally didn't rank Ole Miss, I wouldn't view it as some national sin. I get it. I think they're better than that because I've seen them. But if I'm a guy who covers Boise State for the Boise Telegraph Journal institution, I get it that you don't, they lost a lot. I'm not going to put them in yet. Cool.
Yeah, Keaton Slovis from USC is who is at Pitt. That's right. I knew it was a quarterback, and I could not think of his name.
People are saying that the dog having a GoPro is a distraction. Are there really people saying that?
Huh?
I was reading the thread. Someone said that the dog at practice is a distraction. He's not a distraction.
No one is even looking at him at all.
We're there. He comes up to some people during breaks and stuff, but for the most part, he's just laying under a tent. And they're practicing football. Trust me, they're not paying attention to the dog.
He is not affecting preparation.
Not even a little bit. He's entertaining some of the
kids.
Some of the coaches. Some of the coaches late in the week, their families will come out so that they can actually see each other again. And the kids will come out so that at the end of practice they can hug their dads. And the dog has entertained the little kids while dad is coaching football.
That's about it.
Again, I don't think some of you guys completely.
The dog never even gets up.
I don't think some of you
time.
guys completely understand August. It's not for the faint of heart.
Well, it's also monotonous.
Yes, that's what I mean.
Because that's what's causing a lot of the chippiness and whatever. Because I had a buddy walk up to me a few days ago at practice, and he was like, what do you see? And I'm like, I don't know, the same thing I see every day. Like at this point, they're all just glazing over. Like I don't know. I can tell you where they're going next, and they're going to do that, and then we're going to do this.
We can predict what's coming in the practice.
Yeah.
Okay, now they're going to go to this field. Now they're coming back down to this field. They're going to do individual drills here. Now we're going to team. And if we know that, well, they know that.
Yeah, they're in robot mode at this point.
Yeah.
And trying not to fall over.
Except when you make a mistake and all of a sudden
hell hath broken on you at that point.
All of a sudden you're questioning everything about your entire existence. I mean, in that moment you're thinking, you
really are kind of an umpire. You want to be left alone the entire practice. Like just ignored. Yeah. Okay, everything went all right. And then all of a sudden you become Angel Hernandez and we got a problem.
Yeah. The whole, what the hell is wrong with you? Yeah. That's when you know right there.
No.
It's going to be a bad 5 minutes.
Yeah.
These are 5 minutes that I'm going to question my value as a human, my purpose, and really I'm going to wonder whether I want to be here.
Yeah.
If you could enter the transfer portal right there during practice, there would be 20 transfer portals a day.
Yeah. And as opposed to during the season a little bit, in August, you don't even necessarily have that other coach that comes over there and pats you on the head. You just kind of got to get over it.
Yeah.
There's not the good guy that can, hey, it's going to be all right. Lane didn't mean that. It's okay.
Yeah, well, luckily for them, it's not Lane.
Well, that's a good point, yeah. I think you mentioned this on Saturday. I think my favorite kind of trope for practice with this bunch, and we saw this even in this freaking spring when nothing mattered, is that Partridge has one gear and he can't turn it off.
Yeah.
And he is hyper competitive in every single rep, and he gets pissed off in things that do not matter.
Yeah, I mean, he made me feel sorry for a referee.
He did get on a referee.
I mean, we were right in front of him. It was like a touch. It could have gone either way. Call. They called, I guess, pass interference.
They called defensive pass interference.
And I could see it. And the referee sort of explained it to a couple of coaches. We couldn't hear the explanation. But
the explanation was very lengthy to the point of they were trying to figure out no call or offensive too. Like They were going through the entire gamut of options there.
And his explanation seemed to
satisfy the GA.
Yeah, who was like trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
He was like, okay, well, I guess I could see that. Okay, yeah. Chris
did not see that.
Chris never really came around to seeing it. And I think the official was scared. And I was scared for him.
7-on-7 drill was very important to Chris at that moment. So it's all good. So anyway, all right. Be back in a second. Podcast brought to you in part by G&M Pharmacy. That's 662-236-2222. They deliver locally in the Oxford area, and they offer medicine for your prescriptions the same day each month and take care of you. Also with their med packs, they individually package any medication that you need. You get the morning pouch, the afternoon pouch, medicine for those who need that extra step. So whether it be Holly Springs or Oxford, that's 662-236-2222.
I'll have a mailbag up tomorrow. It's brought to you by Whitney McNutt, Tommy Morgan Incorporated Realtors, serving you for all of your real estate needs in Oxford and Tupelo. Condos, land, commercial, residential, family homes, 662-567-2573, 662-842-3844. I told you yesterday about Service Specialist Staffing and Recruiting Agency. If you're looking for a job, well, if your company is looking to hire quality, hard-to-find talent, they can help you too. Keep in mind that payment of service is solely contingent on if you decide to hire a candidate that they send. You've got nothing to lose, so give Will, Sydney, or Kelsey a call, 662-832-5138. Check out their new and improved website, servicespecialistltd.com. Brought to you by The Rogue, 4450 I-55 North in Jackson, or therogue.com. It's your destination for fine men's clothing. Again, therogue.com. Don't just accept what you see, but imagine something new. Step forward, chase after a better version of yourself. Every day, Corinth Dental is helping people reinvent themselves one smile at a time. Dr. Bubba McQueen, Dr. Jenny Beth Hendrick are devoted to restoring and enhancing the natural beauty of your smile using conservative, state-of-the-art procedures, including Invisalign. Call Corinth Dental today for a no-cost digital scan of your teeth. They'll show you the way to a straighter, healthier smile. 12 months, no interest. No down payment financing available at corinthdental.com. Pinpoint Commercial Real Estate, based out of Jackson. They service the entire state in all commercial asset classes such as industrial, retail, office, medical, and land. BB Mitchell with Pinpoint provides a plethora of commercial real estate services, but his core focus is sourcing investment properties for his clients. BB advises clients looking to acquire income-producing property with all risk tolerance levels ranging from vacant buildings to investment-grade stabilized assets. Pinpoint sets itself apart with its ability to source off-market opportunities for its investor clients, which maximizes return. Pinpoint takes pride in its attention to detailed professionalism and hard work. For all of your commercial real estate needs, give BB a call, 601-934-5008. And brought to you finally by Southern Traditions Farm. It's a 68-acre, 32-stall upscale equestrian training and boarding facility in Canton, Mississippi. It's also a great place to host a party, an event. So get in touch with Bowers Cone, Susan Walt, the people there at Southern Traditions Farm on Instagram or Facebook at Southern Traditions Farm.
Stuart Mandel usually kind of drives me insane, but I mostly agreed with his overrated, underrated list that he had from the AP top 20, or the coaches poll, top 25 yesterday. He had Clemson, Michigan, Oklahoma, Texas as overrated, as well as Wisconsin. We just mentioned the Badgers a second ago. He said Paul Chryst program has earned its reputation for consistency, but it's been showing cracks the past couple seasons. 9-6 in Big Ten play. Braylon Allen, the running back's a stud. Quarterback Graham Mertz has yet to live up to expectations. They have one of the best defensive coordinators in the business, but even he's challenged to reload a unit that lost 8 of its top 10 tacklers, including 2-star linebackers last season. So,
good.
Yeah, a little bit.
I think we get the Badgers early in the year.
His underrated teams, Utah, agree.
Yep.
NC State, Neal agrees.
Yep.
USC, I understand why you would have that opinion. Arkansas. And then Iowa, and Minnesota not being ranked. He says it shows you just how much the voters default to Wisconsin and the Big Ten West. They left out the reigning champion Hawkeyes entirely as a sneaky good Minnesota team. Yep. Iowa's offense was terrible last season, but its top 20 defense should be even better. And the Gophers 9-4 last year. Welcome back offensive coordinator and star running back who was lost in the first game last season.
Minnesota was crappy in the COVID year, and everybody went, oh, okay, when they threw them out. Fleck's a good coach. Maybe he's kind of weird. Lots of coaches are kind of weird. Fleck's a good coach. And at the risk of starting message board threads, I do think people are sleeping on Arkansas a little bit. They return a lot offensively. Yes, they lose Burks. And how they replace Burks is going to be a challenge. But you have the same coaching staff all back, essentially, both coordinators, the head coach. You've got a quarterback back for a third year as a starter. You've got a pretty loaded backfield, a very good offensive front. Got some questions on their defensive front, but the back seven's really good. They're going to be a good team. They just are. Kentucky's going to be a good team. We have a tendency in our business to go, well, because a team traditionally sucks, they'll always suck. And that's not the case.
In the West is that it's a bear if LSU and Auburn are better than we think.
Yes.
That's the question.
The issue in the West is going to be if A&M is close to as good as people say they are, if LSU is close to as good as some people are starting to say they might be, well, you mix in Ole Miss, you mix in Arkansas, Mississippi State's not going to be a bad football team.
They can be plucky for a day, for sure.
And then you've got Auburn.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what if Auburn doesn't suck? Well, then the league's a damn bear, and that's what it is, and they're going to kill each other.
Yeah. A little bit of, nothing overly major, but a little bit of quarterback news out of the NFL yesterday. We're sort of going around and looking at some sports topics. This is not surprising at all. They're not sure if Aaron Rodgers is going to play in any preseason games at all. He did not last season. Jordan Love will start the first preseason game for the Packers.
Aaron Rodgers doesn't need preseason snaps.
He'll be all right.
He just needs some training
tune-up.
Training camp, get his work.
What is a little more concerning for yours truly is that Jameis Winston left Monday's practice early after tweaking his foot. He's taken in for evaluation. The other quarterbacks on the New Orleans roster are Andy Dalton and Ian Book. So I've seen no further update on that from New Orleans and Jameis Winston.
My guy Joe Burrow hasn't come back yet from the.
That was my next sentence.
There's a little. So I listened to a Bengals podcast as I try to advance my fandom a little bit so that I can talk about it with people.
Mm-hmm.
A little concerned that this was a little bit more than your traditional appendectomy. Now,
Really?
he's off the cart at practice. Yesterday, he was even jogging at practice. They don't play for a month. He doesn't need a ton. He's not Aaron Rodgers. He probably needs a little preseason, but he doesn't need 4 preseason games. He knows the offense, probably like the back of his hand. But there's beginning to be some people that go, is he going to be ready for week 1?
It's football, not baseball, so I understand that. But Gaddis was out a couple weeks when he had his, I think, something like that, during this baseball season.
Yeah, and Burrow, look, if you told me that they're like, hey, look, man, don't rush. It's all good. Today's August the 9th. The Bengals play September the 11th. Is that right?
I think that's right. Yeah, Zach Taylor said he was not going to put a timeline on it, but he was optimistic there's no danger in missing week 1.
Okay. Hope he's right.
True or not, I have no idea, but that's where we're at there.
People sleeping on the Bengals, by the way. They got a legit shot. Named their stadium today.
Saw that. So now there are only 2 left without corporate sponsorships tied to them.
It's no longer Paul Brown Stadium. It's like Paycor, I think.
Yeah, I didn't know how to pronounce it.
It's a Cincinnati company. Apparently it was a lot of money.
Really?
Yeah.
Lambeau and Soldier Field, the 2 that do not have names.
One of those is really cool.
And one of those Lambeau
is really cool. Soldier Field's about to be, I guess, hosting high school games.
The Illinois State Championships will do a hell of a job there. It'll be fantastic. They'll move them from Memorial and Champaign to Soldier Field. They'll have a big time. Yeah.
Roquan Smith requesting a trade this morning, by the way, from the Bears.
Okay. Any interesting and
I jumped on the bandwagon before the season. I get a break. I declared myself a Bengals fan before the season began.
You did. When they were still in their infancy.
The guy gave us a tour, and he was really cool and really nice, and got back in the truck, and Carson said, I guess we're Bengals fans now. And I said, I guess so, and we actually cheered for them all year.
Are you interested in this Mike Tyson biopic where he says that Hulu, quote, stole his life story for an upcoming documentary?
Yeah.
You in?
Yeah.
Okay. Just curious. Also, new records for kicker money. The Ravens' Justin Tucker signs a 4-year contract extension worth up to $24 million, including $17.5 million guaranteed.
Okay.
He's been automatic. You need a kicker? No problem with that at all.
Might sound like a lot, but on Sunday when you need
it won't be a lot when you need that kick.
You need that 48-yarder through the wind, and he nails it. You're like, yeah, it's worth it.
Yeah. It's a bargain right there, babe. So, anyway. All right, practice access today. We'll have coverage to you. Again, coverage from yesterday as well. Story on Markevius Brown up on the site this morning at rebelgrove.com. So go join the conversation. We're always tons of lovely people there. And I'll be back with you again with another show tomorrow.